down here on level 1.
So low he could parachute out of a snake's asshole.
Hey guys, I saw a recent video from Hate Army about Phil's latest React show, where he tried to debunk information about the YouTube algorithm as told by the guy that's been in charge of it for the past 10 years. Of course, Phil is completely on the defensive and doesn't understand any of the words being used. We get the classic book smart versus street smart nonsense. And of course, Phil complains about how he's a super special snowflake, and it's just not fair of the algorithm to treat him the same as it treats everyone else. So let's get into the video.
All right, I wanted to watch. Here, let's figure this one out. I doubt this guy really knows the secret to the algorithm, considering this guy we did this video 7 days ago, and this video only got him 47,000 views. I don't think he really hit the algorithm too hard. But
let's remember again when Phil did that scam Fallout 4 video where he intentionally lied to his audience and tried to claim he had the next gen update 24 hours before the next gen update was actually applied to Fallout 4. He tried to trick the audience by suggesting he was running it in the new high performance update or whatever it was. Phil managed to get, what, 30,000 views? He spent the next week like live watching the view count during his pre-stream. Okay, Phil.
Let's see what he says here. Do this and YouTube can't ignore you. Let's see.
66% of small channels think that the YouTube algorithm treats them unfairly, and that's concerning. So I found the guy who's basically in charge of all of this stuff. And in this video, we're going to reveal 6 tips on how the algorithm actually works, so that it takes your channel from looking like this to something more like this. But first, we need to show you who this algorithm guy is. His name is Todd, and he is the products lead for the homepage and recommendations at YouTube.
So hopefully this guy actually knows what he's talking about. But let's see if Phil gives this guy the respect he deserves.
Working there for over a decade. He likely knows more about the YouTube algorithm than anyone else on the planet, and he's happy to share his thoughts with the public, which is fantastic. So in this video, he's going to share quite a lot of interesting stuff, like how you can use a simple title and thumbnail hack to revive any dead video, to new packaging strategies that can boost your click-through rate, and towards the end, he'll even share why click-through rate and watch time might not be as important as you might think. But first, we need to debunk that myth that many of you believe to be true.
Any commentary at all, Phil?
The YouTube algorithm isn't against you.
We don't have creator objectives in our recommendations. Like, we're not trying to get creators to upload more often, serve one creator segment over another. It's creator agnostic. Give the viewers what they want, and by doing that, you create the most opportunity for creators, and those creators compete fairly for those opportunities.
So do you think Phil's going to understand at all what that guy just said? Place your bets now.
Except they don't, because the algorithm is promoting things that are considered on a trend or virally popular.
And again, why is that a bad thing? Why are things that are popular being put in front of people to watch a bad thing?
So what ends up happening is you have people going to the lowest common denominator of scams, deceit, harmful content, and that's what gets pushed to the forefront of YouTube.
Well, the only video Phil has that's recently hit the algorithm was his scam Fallout 4 video. So I guess Phil's proof positive that works? I don't know.
Why is it that everyone who makes toxic, hateful content gets to the top, and people who are making the regular content get shoved under?
I really wonder what Phil's homepage looks like if that's what he thinks YouTube is. I think even on normie YouTube, that just isn't true. Maybe Phil, his experience is just completely out of whack because he's one of the few people that has an entire detractor community that's more popular than him. And so on his homepage for his YouTube channels, he keeps getting recommended like Almighty Tevin or TBS or something. But for most people don't get negative content recommended to them. I don't know what kind of like different reality Phil's living in where 90% of the content on YouTube is toxic. Most of it's just entertainment.
That doesn't make any sense at all, right? Your algorithm is taking in basically, how can I say? You have humans making videos, correct? It's not a robot making the video, it's a human making a YouTube video, correct? There are some AI videos, but for the most part, it's humans making videos. Therefore, if you're creating an algorithm, it has to have human factors and judgments.
Looks like the raw fill stream lags a little bit here, so my bad.
Incredibly harmful to others. It could be deceptive and judgments. Be incredibly harmful to others. It could be deceptive and lying and cheating. That's how humans are. So to have an
So that's again why you want the algorithm to be agnostic. You don't want to artificially pick one thing or the other. You want to have the algorithm be reinforced by what the viewers, the people who watch the videos, are watching and what they enjoy watching. You don't want people behind the scenes artificially biasing the algorithm to pick certain types of content over others. So Phil's actually arguing in favor of the current version of the algorithm.
algorithm that's agnostic doesn't fucking work. You idiot. That guy, the moment that guy said to me, if I was interviewing him, I'd be like, do you have no fucking level of intelligence in your head? Do you not understand that humans are agnostic towards each other, that they literally step on each other to get ahead constantly? So why would you have an algorithm that's agnostic that everyone can game?
Does Phil not really understand what the word agnostic means here? Like, if the algorithm was designed by people, it'd actually be easier to game the system, instead of if it's a vague, abstract algorithm that's currently implemented, where most people don't actually know how it works, is much more preferable to a system where there's just shadowy figures in the back of the YouTube data center determining what videos get put forward and which don't.
Fucking buffoon. I mean, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard what that guy just said. Literally, that guy is a dunce. The guy who...
But remember, Phil doesn't make toxic content. He tried to he just claimed, like, oh, I make just regular, normal entertainment for people. And here he is, just, oh, the head of YouTube, he's a fucking no-life, nudnik, nerd. Bleh.
Charge of the algorithm is a dunce. He thinks having an agnostic algorithm works. No, it doesn't. You have to adjust for human input, for human deception, for all these fucked up things that humans do to get ahead. What a moron. And this is the guy in charge of YouTube's algorithms. Gee, I wonder why the same people are always on the front page.
Except that's just not true, Phil. I mean, you fell off. So I guess that's just not true. I mean, even if you take Mr. Beast, he wasn't a huge YouTuber before he became a huge YouTuber. If you take all of the, VTubers that have shown up lately, that have got several million sub channels at this point, they came literally out of nowhere because 10 years ago that content didn't exist. But somehow the YouTube algorithm intentionally picked them, or they're just entertaining, and so they get recommended.
The most harmful content is on top. That's why.
It's just not true.
People who run YouTube are fucking idiots.
This means that the YouTube algorithm doesn't have any preconceived agenda that is for or against small channels or big channels. What it cares much more about is whether the video satisfies an audience. Viewer. So this is good news for small channels. It does mean that you can compete with large channels.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't at all. It means you can't compete with large channels. That's what it means.
Again, Phil, I don't think Phil actually understands the word agnostic here. It means that big channels and small channels have the exact same standards applied to them. How is that not fair?
It's agnostic, and the large channels are already big, and they're already using the tactics to stay on top. It means the small channel will never be recognized.
Again, what's the tactic large channels use to stay on top in the algorithm? They're entertaining, and people want to watch the videos. People click on the videos, and people watch them most of the way through. That's the trick they're using.
That's what it means by being agnostic in an algorithm. It's awful. It shouldn't be like that at all.
On YouTube. And that's
Again, what is Phil asking here for? In a shadowy room in the back of the YouTube data center, there's a cabal of YouTube and data engineers like picking which videos are work or like self. Like, what is he asking for?
Why you as a viewer will often see on your homepage a video that has only a couple of hundred views that was released a couple of days ago from a small channel. So let's
Interesting how Phil doesn't address that point, which just completely debunked his argument. No commentary on that, Phil.
move on to the more relevant question.
So Phil was just completely wrong.
Videos that satisfy the viewers more than your competition. Well, Todd did share one tip that not enough creators are taking advantage of.
In terms of seeing what does well, I highly recommend that creators spend some time in the audience tab where they can find other videos their audience is watching. They don't.
And now this is the juicy part of the video where Phil admits that he's not popular. Unfortunately, I can't comment too much on this because for my channel, the audience analytics tab, I just don't have enough viewers for it actually to populate with data. But let's see what because Phil does. So let's see how he responds to this.
Yeah, but the problem is a lot of people watch detractor shit. So when I look at that, it just says, oh, detractor videos. So it doesn't help me at all.
It should. It should let you know that your content's dog shit and people would rather watch clips of it or commentary over your toxic fucking behavior.
I don't care about detractor content. I don't want to look at detractor content, right? Why does the algorithm favor it? Because your algorithm is agnostic. If your algorithm was smart, it would say, wait a minute, there's all these toxic defamatory videos.
Phil just, 60 seconds ago in this video was calling the head of YouTube a fucking idiot, moron? But apparently, it's the detractors that have toxic content. No, Phil has toxic content. That's why there's a detractor community that exists about him.
We don't want those factored in. We want positive content that ads should be running on, that are promoting good behavior by humans.
Again, most detractors aren't actually monetized, so that doesn't actually mean anything.
Not, just money-making behaviors. That's why the algorithm doesn't fucking work. That's why YouTube is toxic.
I have to just look.
Again, this is a weird thing Phil is arguing for. Like, he's actually taking the point that he wants like a shadow cabal run by like a mega corporation, social engineering what people see so he can make another fucking nickel on his pre-stream from the ads. Like, mind-blowing just how disconnected from reality Phil is.
At like what Mr. Beast is doing, because
I'm not kidding. If I look at that, it just shows me all detractor content. That's all it says. Because who's jumping into my content watching it like that? The detractors. Oh, they come over here, they flood the stream, and they fucking say negative shit in the chat and dumb shit. I can't find out what my actual positive viewers want because
maybe you have no actual positive viewers, Phil. If the only other videos anyone who watches your content is actually watching is detractor content, maybe you have no real fans. That's the part that should click with him, is that he should realize he has no real fans.
because their algorithm doesn't fucking work. So 2 things this guy who's in charge of the algorithm has said so far that actually are completely fucked up. Okay? Title and thumbnail. Let's find this out.
And if so, how? And the answer lies in the packaging, title and the thumbnail.
one question that creators often ask, if they change a thumbnail or update the title, does that trigger the algorithm to kind of test the video more? The answer is that we don't. And part of that is because if you could get kind of favorable treatment just by swapping metadata, creators would just do that all the time so they could just get as much as they could. But the other reason is we actually found that we don't need to. If
Well, it was a good idea by them.
the thumbnail or title change
Scumbags like Phil would be changing their video titles every fucking day.
seconds of the change happening, when you see those jumps coming from a change of a title or thumbnail, those are all coming from audience reactions. There's no.
So basically, the algorithm is also lazy. It doesn't ever reevaluate anything. It gives you one shot to be evaluated, and then after that, it just leaves you alone forever.
That's Phil just completely misunderstood, or he's too stupid to understand. That's not what the guy said. Because he said you can actually see when you do update the thumbnail or the title, there are audience reactions to better titles and better thumbnails, which means the algorithm is still putting your content in front of people. So the algorithm still works.
So either your video immediately gets noticed or will never get noticed ever again unless it's already from your existing audience. So that's 3 things that are awful about this stuff. I mean, this is everything he said is awful.
Again, Phil insulting the guy and calling him an idiot. But Phil's just completely wrong. Even if you take like some of my own videos, and I'd hate to make this entire video about my own channel, but like if you take, I think my most viewed video right now is the DSP and the transactional interactions video. That video took like a week, I think it was, to get most of its views. I think for the first week it had maybe 50 views in total, and then it had one day, I think someone linked it on something or another, and then it started getting thousands of views. So it's not like you get one chance at the algorithm. All it takes is one person to watch your video, to click on it and watch it, and the algorithm will keep recommending it to other people. So Phil's just completely wrong. You don't get one chance because your videos keep getting shown to people. Like even if you take my latest video, which has a click-through rate of like 2% with 1,000 views, that means it's been shown to roughly, I think, 50,000 people. I think that's how the number works. So it's not like the algorithm stops presenting your content to people. That's just not what happens.
3 bad things in a row. Can we continue? Can you get worse? Let's find out what's the next one.
And Phil didn't even watch the entire segment about that.
Things from this fucking guy who's in charge of the algorithm
as well. But what Todd talks about next takes packaging to a whole new level, because it's no longer enough just to think about the title and the thumbnail. There's now a third factor to think about that could increase or decrease that initial click.
Now we're in a world where on mobile, the thumbnail only shows for like half a second to a second while you're scrolling on the homepage. And then we found that people really liked being able to just like see what the video is about. Now the person's decision is based in large part on what they deliver in the intro and what they deliver in the intro when there's no sound. And how much time do you think most creators are looking at that through the eyes of the viewer?
My God.
Well, I wish they would actually give you like a tool or something in YouTube to let you test it out before you actually upload the video, but whatever.
That's useful. Okay, that's completely 100% useful. I agree. If you preview the video by having it like move to a certain way on the app, it'll start auto playing but with no sound, so you'll see the intro of the video. All right, that one's useful. Okay.
So now comes the Phil says it's useful. Do you think he's going to start implementing it in his content, or do you think he's going to come up with an excuse about why he's actually a special case and none of it works for him? Place your bets now.
Of course, for me, like gameplay, how can I make that better? I can't. There's nothing I can really do there. For other styles of video, maybe, perhaps. I'm not sure. I don't know what I could really do to make the intro of my video more appealable. Like, to me, that...
Well, it's weird he says that. He talks about, oh, I only do gameplay, but that's just not true. Like, he's actively doing a React channel while he's talking about this. He does a podcast, which is like a third of his content now. He's got the DSP throwback thing. So, and even if he says it doesn't apply to him, he's actually changed up how he does the intro to his podcast, right? So he used to just have music that would play and then he'd go into the podcast. Now he does an intro song of like 10 seconds or whatever. He does a 30-second intro that covers everything about the podcast that's going to be happening. And then he does another like 30-second guitar riff or whatever. So Phil actually did try and change up his content.
That makes sense for like someone who's doing a review or something, show something catchy at the very beginning. Or someone like me who's doing a podcast show or doing a gameplay video. There's nothing I can really change about the early part of my video to make more attractive. So that sadly, even though that one actually is helpful, it doesn't.
But then how do other channels that upload gameplay and upload podcasts, how are they popular? Can you square the circle there, Phil? Or are you just a fucking moron?
It's a little different.
Now, getting people
Again, the idea that Phil's content of doing a podcast and doing gameplay on YouTube are out there content. Fucking please.
to click is just half of the algorithm story. If you want to get truly noticed, then Todd suggests this.
We want to enable creators to deliver great value to audience. The way that they do that by two things: getting the click and getting them to watch the. There is a danger by focusing too much on solely click that creators could create thumbnails, attract audiences that are not actually watching the video, and abandon the video early. And that's not good for creator, it's not good for the viewer, it's not good for YouTube.
It's not good for the advertiser. Oops, he didn't say that one.
And so we want to focus on delivering higher value.
So yes, it is possible to have a phenomenal click-through rate, still have your video perform terribly. The algorithm.
And the sad fact is, with gameplay like I do, I never get a high percentile. Why? A lot of people, when they watch a gameplay video, they'll click play, they'll see what the beginning is, and if it interests them, great, and if not, they always fast forward. They're always...
Again, what version of YouTube is Phil on? That's not how most people watch gameplay. A lot of people that watch gameplay have it on a second monitor or just use it as background noise. And so why would they bother skipping forward? It's something in the background. And even when I occasionally watch just pure gameplay videos on YouTube, it's usually less than an hour. It's usually 30-minute videos to start with. But I watch pretty much the whole thing, or at least the first 75% of it, because the person doing the content is engaging and I'm interested in seeing what happens. Apparently, according to Phil and Phil's own analytics, no one gives a shit what Phil does in his gameplay videos. He's not engaging, and that's his problem with the algorithm.
Just fast forwarding to the part of the gameplay video that they like. When I used to make shorter gameplay videos, my actual watch time and engagement rate was better because it's a shorter video. So you have a higher chance to just watch the 10-minute video than if you have a 30-minute gameplay video and you're going to probably fast forward more.
That's, again, Phil is not understanding what's actually happening there. So when you've got a 30-minute dog shit, uninteresting gameplay video, you might watch the first 30 seconds, skip halfway through the video, watch another 30 seconds, then skip to the end and watch another 30 seconds and say, God damn, Phil is an uninteresting, boring piece of shit. Why the fuck did I click this video? But then if he has a 10-minute video, you watch the first 30 seconds, you get bored out of your fucking mind. You skip halfway through the progress bar, you watch another 30 seconds, you say, damn, I'm fucking bored. You skip towards the end, you watch another 30 seconds, you say, damn, why did I click on this video? It's the same minute and 30 seconds of watching. It's just Phil was scamming the algorithm. So it's not like his engagement was better when he had shorter videos because his content was better. No, the algorithm was not able to identify that Phil's content was dog shit. Although it basically did, because he fucking fell off. The problem Phil has is that his content is dog shit.
So actually, when I increased the length of my videos, which is what my viewers wanted, it actually hurt my channel. It hurt the channel because now people are more apt to just fast forward through, and that kills that engagement rate.
The problem is no one watches all of your video, Phil. It doesn't matter if you have 10 minutes that no one watches or an hour that no one fucking watches. They're both bad. The idea that he's blaming his fucking audience for his dog shit content, uninteresting shit that no one wants to watch. What a fucking nice guy.
You know, and there's nothing I can do about that. What I would say is, for the podcast, at least with the podcast, we're getting timestamps on the podcast in the morning. And even this video too, like usually these React videos, I get timestamps in the description. So at least people...
Which someone else does.
...watch and then listen, which is great. But with gameplay...
Again, Phil should really think about what he just said, is that he uploads a 2-hour podcast and the comments from, what is it, OP Boone, break it up into like 2 or 3 minute segments. And so out of his 2-hour podcast, people are willing to listen to what? 2 or 3, maybe 5 2-minute segments? So people are willing to listen to the 10 minutes of his hour and 20-minute podcast, and he thinks the problem's with the algorithm, not with his dog shit content? Come fuck on, man. It's time to wake up.
There's not much you can really do. Again, these
You could be
algorithms
engaging.
are not designed in mind for everyone. The things he's describing in the
Oh,
algorithm,
of course, Phil is special.
of videos.
Yeah, as if podcasts on YouTube were this out there thing that only Phil does. No, podcasts are fucking everywhere on YouTube.
But not for all types of videos. They made an algorithm that literally, because it's
Because
there's no human
podcasts don't get promoted on YouTube.
factors to it.
Yeah, okay, sure, Phil.
It can be abused. It can be used to get what makes you popular. And anyone who genuinely isn't trying to game the system and just wants to put out content that they feel is useful or valid or positive, they get shoved right under.
Positive content, Phil. You're calling the head of the YouTube algorithm a fucking moron while trying to explain how your content's positive. How is he that delusional?
Under the rug. This is a gameable system because the people who run it don't fucking have a brain in their head thinking business. They just think, oh, tech know-how. It's being street smart versus being book smart.
Oh no.
People who work at YouTube are incredibly book smart and have no fucking street smarts whatsoever. They don't know what it's actually like to be out there as a YouTuber.
Yeah, the fucking trenches of making YouTube videos. But actually, the whole point of the algorithm is business. Phil just doesn't understand it. The YouTube business model is to put ads in front of people, and the videos are the excuse to do that. People are willing to watch the ads so they can see the videos. Although most people run fucking ad block, but whatever. But people are only willing to put up with the ads if the content is worth watching. The content behind the ads is worth watching. So the entire point of the algorithm is to make sure people stay on the platform watching the ads which play in front of the videos. So Phil's entire dogshit point about how they don't understand business, they're just a bunch of fucking nerds in the data center. No, the entire reason the algorithm exists is the business side of YouTube.
Trying to make a living because they don't actually talk to the right fucking people.
Again, Phil doesn't understand. The people who make YouTube videos are not even the secondary audience for YouTube. The primary people that YouTube answers to are the advertisers, secondly, the viewers, and tertiary, the uploaders. The uploaders, maybe this is a little toxic, but the uploaders and the videos are a scam. YouTube is scamming you with entertainment so you can watch the ads and they get paid by the advertisers. Phil, I don't know if this is just Phil is so stupid or he's just such a narcissist. He literally can't view the world from outside of his fucking gated office. But the people uploading videos are not the primary audience for YouTube. They don't give a fuck what they think. Because there's going to be 100 other people that are willing to put up with their bullshit to get, $1 uploading a video. They don't give a fuck what the content creators think, and they probably shouldn't.
They just sit there in their offices coding all day and tossing out changes on the site. They don't talk to anyone who gets affected by their changes. So then everything gets fucked up.
Again, of course, I don't think Phil understands the scale of YouTube. It literally streams to 1 billion people a day. There aren't enough man hours in the human race to get the feedback necessary for YouTube to make 100% positive changes. It's just not physically possible. Again, Phil's a fucking moron.
Do this more effectively later on in this video. But before I do that, you need to hear this from Todd first, because it may change the way you make videos forever.
These are things that are useful for predicting whether somebody's going to watch or how long they're going to watch. So like, did they subscribe to the channel? How much have they watched from that channel? How long has it been since they subscribed to the channel? Because we found that just knowing that they're subscribed doesn't tell the whole story. If you subscribe to a channel 8 years ago and haven't watched anything in the past year, that tells us something different than if you just subscribed yesterday.
I think what Todd is basically
They're
saying,
basically just talking about Phil's channel.
and content is not binary. It's not on or off, subscribed or unsubscribed. It gets stronger, but it also gets...
Any commentary at all, Phil?
necessarily be when a viewer subscribed to a channel, be it 5 years ago, a month ago, a week ago. And maybe, just maybe, some viewers, their subscriptions mean nothing at all. Let me know in the comments if you feel the same about this, but I
I mean, no shit. I mean, are you gonna tell me that's not like common sense? Is that it? I guess that's it. Oh, don't just look. Let's look at the last one. Okay.
Having said all of this, we do need to caution on focusing on just one signal or one metric that determines the YouTube algorithm.
And that's why there's like literally hundreds of these different things that are considered. Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they get nervous about the algorithm, is that they're worried that just because one signal says something doesn't mean...
Do you think Phil's understanding anything being said here?
...angles on understanding the viewer's interests. And so we have...
Like a deer in the headlights.
...that videos can spread.
This is a really important point that Todd is making. We often see comments from creators who boast about a 25% click rate or a 70% audience retention, but being puzzled about why the video doesn't get more views. Sadly, this is where metrics can be misleading, because each one represents one part of a much bigger jigsaw. True, lots of people may have clicked on a thumbnail, but then nobody watched the video. On the other hand, audience retention might be really high, but it was a trending topic, or there just isn't a big audience for it. And of course, metrics can be very fluid. Click-through rate can go down as the video is shared out to a wider audience and more people click on it.
Any commentary, Phil?
Videos on YouTube have
You
terrible
want to say anything?
low audience retention because it's being shared amongst such a massive audience. YouTube is testing it with everyone.
Well, I think it's a pretty good video, all in all.
Treat each metric within its own vacuum. With time and more videos, you'll get more data. And you can
Not just nothing, Phil.
But having said
Nothing.
this, along with the thoughts of a YouTube expert, some of you still aren't convinced, are you? You're still convinced that the YouTube algorithm hates your...
No, it doesn't hate content. The problem is, again, as I said, the YouTube algorithm is a robot with absolutely no human component to it whatsoever. It doesn't factor in human behaviors. It doesn't...
It does, though. It's just Phil's upset that it factors in the behaviors of the viewers, not of the creator. I don't know if, again, is this a narcissism thing where Phil just literally can't understand the world from someone else's point of view? Possibly. Is it just a selfish thing where he's trying to somehow convince YouTube to change the algorithm so he can make another fucking nickel on his pre-stream podcast? I don't know.
Understand that people have found ways to game it for advantage, and once those people game it, they stay on top.
Again, Phil is the example that that is not true. Phil has completely fallen off. And even though he recently tried to scam the YouTube algorithm and did the Fallout 4 scam where he uploaded part 1 of his playthrough with the title that it was the Next Gen Update playthrough, even though part 1 was not the Next Gen Update. And guess what happened? People realized Phil's video was a scam, and none of his other videos got as many views. That's the algorithm working. Scammers like this piece of shit right here, he was punished by the algorithm. He tried to scam it, and they said, fuck you. Because the audience didn't want to watch it. The audience realized he was a scamming sack of shit, and the algorithm punished him. That's the algorithm working.
Doesn't factor in bad actors like toxic, harmful, defamatory, slanderous, mean-spirited, and essentially content that should not be monetized. It doesn't factor in any of those whatsoever.
So is my content perfectly acceptable to hit the algorithm? If my next video gets 1 million views, Phil, and I'm still not monetized, is that okay? Again, it's hard to tell if it's just greed and he wants the YouTube algorithm to change so he can get an extra nickel, or he just doesn't because what reality is Phil living in where most YouTube videos are toxic? I make detractor content and most of my YouTube recommendations aren't toxic. What fucking what does Phil's fucking homepage look like that he thinks that's what YouTube is? God.
In fact,
Like, is his entire YouTube homepage Almighty Tevin videos, Piece of Peace restreams, WPIG streams, the fucking Anleet streams? That's just his entire fucking homepage.
it basically capitalizes on those. It takes advantage of the bad parts of human nature to make money. So what you end up with,
Yeah, that's the whole fucking point, man. They're trying to put ads in front of people.
is a site full of fakers, liars, cheats, swindlers, scumbags, and people who are just out to insult others, and they are the ones who are getting all of the attention. Well,
Again, just like, what version of YouTube is Phil watching? It's not even the one I'm watching.
anyone else who just wants to be nice and share a nice experience or a little bit of expertise about,
Again, if you want to take Mr. Beast, again, I don't want to get too much commentary on it, but it's not like he's doing toxic content. If you want to do expertise content, there's a fucking load of that. I mean, if you want to go like all the science channels that are out there, they've got tons of fucking views. What was it? Phil's actually watched videos from, what was it, PBS Spacetime? They've got their own fucking YouTube channel that gets millions of views per video. Like, what is Phil talking about that toxic content is promoted? Like, yeah, detractor content is promoted above Phil's content, but that's because Phil makes dog shit boring content that he occasionally does fucking something stupid or something outrageous. And that's what people are willing to watch from Phil, is the crazy shit that he does. But again, that's only what? Less than 10% of his content? 90% of his content is just straight, boring, unengaging dog shit. That's Phil's biggest problem, is that he wants the algorithm to promote that instead of, I don't know, like, instead of detractor channels that'll take a 10-minute clip of his and talk about how fucking stupid, boring it is. That's so much more engaging than 90% of Phil's content. I think that means there's something wrong with the algorithm, that people are willing to watch that instead of his stuff. Again, Phil doesn't understand the algorithm. The algorithm responds to what the viewers are doing, not the creators.
something gets shoved under the rug. You have the most toxic, awful people being promoted on YouTube, and no one stops it because you made a robot judge the whole site. You're a moron. This guy who's...
Again, Phil just said his content was positive and meaningful, and now he's calling the head of YouTube's algorithm a fucking moron. Is lying or breathing easier for Phil? I want to know.
in charge of the YouTube algorithm.
Or is he just delusional?
He literally didn't program in any level of morality or intelligence into the algorithm.
Which again, it's mind-blowing that he says that, is that he actually wants a shadow cabal to run the YouTube algorithm, to engage in social engineering through entertainment, all so he can make an extra fucking dollar. That's a level of delusion I didn't think was possible from a human being, or a level of greed, or a level of stupidity, or just a level of I don't know what's fucking wrong with him. But that's just, I can't believe it.
He just had a fucking automated system go and do whatever it wants. And what made you...
Again, the algorithm doesn't, it isn't like a ghost in the machine, right? It isn't sentient. It responds to what the viewers are doing. Do the viewers click on the video? Do they watch the video? Do they come back to the video? That's like the big metrics it uses. And Phil thinks this is like some stupid, like it's a good thing that the algorithm's stupid in a sense. That means it's fair. Sometimes it's easier to fool a complicated system because there are more edge cases than it is to try and fool a simple system because there are very, very few edge cases that have to be checked. So in a sense, it might actually be better that the algorithm is stupid. It isn't like a human level intelligence trying to figure things out.
I think that was going to work on a site with human input. This is a human-based site. It's not a robot-based site.
Again, I don't know what that means.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Because, like, they use AI algorithms to determine people are cheating all the time. Like, that's one of the ways, like, certain online games will figure out who's cheating is they use dumb algorithms that look at weird behavior.
That is it for DSP versus the internet this week, folks. I hope that you enjoyed.
Yeah, it was dog shit. This was the only part I actually fucking watched. So, yeah. Again, I don't know what Phil's problem is. Like, was he too dumb to understand the words being spoken there? Is he too fucking greedy in that he just wants the algorithm to change so he can get an extra fucking nickel? Is he so much of a narcissist he can't listen to the idea that the YouTube algorithm listens to viewers instead of him, a creator? Who fucking knows, man? But he has no idea how the algorithm works and what it's designed to do. It's mind-blowing what he wants. So anyway, I just kind of had to get this video out. See you guys in the next one.